This has been a battle because we have multiple times had wording. In fact, we even went and stated in the transportation bill, you shall spend X amount of dollars and finish Highway 14. And that was vetoed, and the governor said, I will not sign a transportation bill that includes specifically designating. So we had to do several attempts to try and get something that we thought would fund, and the governor would sign it. The last thing we did was go to MnDOT and say, what language do we need to make sure that this gets done? They gave us that language. Senator St. John put it in the bill. Frankly, we've handled this type of technical question before by letters of intent from the chairs of the House and the Senate, but I would make sure that we drop bill number 1 that fixed this. Common sense.
Thank you for your answers. The next question is from Matt Stolley of the Rochester Post-Bulletin.
Would you support putting an automatic increase on the general education formula to match the consumer price index rate of increase the previous year?
I would get rid of the formula basis we've got now. I think that would be the best thing to do. I would say, what is the requirement to fund a child in Minnesota and fund that? I would look at all of the special programs we have that are stuffed into the formula and are still hanging out that weren't successful. I would say every 3 to 5 years you would have to go back and look at sparsity and all the other special programs and be forced to make improvements to them and fund them how they needed to be successful, instead of throwing it into a formula. And frankly, that no matter what happens with that formula, a good example is Byron is the least funded per pupil school district in the state of Minnesota because of the way the formula is written.
We have to fund education. We have to invest in the future of our state by funding education, and that often requires some kind of formula so that we're not just making decisions based on a whim or on ideas that special interest groups might have about what works and what doesn't work in education. We talk to teachers, and teachers say that we need an increase in the formula funding because that is a sustainable, predictable level of funding for our schools. When I first moved to Minnesota, in 2007, I've seen the systematic disinvestment in public education, and I think we can do better than that, and we can start doing better than that by simply making sure that that formula increases over time with deflation.
Thank you. Oh, I see a rebuttal is required.
Thank you. The problem we've got in education is we are funding failure. What we need to do is fund success.